Hello everybody and welcome to a rules explanation of the game Word Dungeon. I'm going to talk us through the rules and play a bit of a game so you can quickly get a sense of how we play. I've not had a playthrough video for Word Dungeon before, so hopefully this helps people get their head around what's going on. So in Word Dungeon, this game just here, it's a solo game. Takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and it's all about word placement. It's a word placement game. Kind of like Scrabble or a crossword, but without any clues. With a variety of different mechanics that mean, as we play, we'll be setting up a dungeon and working our way through it to kill monsters, make discoveries, collect treasure chests and gemstones, knock down doors, all through this word placement. Okay, so to set up is quite easy. We have a number of different rooms. There's one here. So a room is the space between the start here and this door. And then this is a second room, a third room, fourth room, all the way down to here, where we have our final boss that we need to kill. Now to set up, we use this grid just here, and we need a d6 dice to set up. When we set up, we're going to place letters on treasure chests, like this one. And we'll roll a dice, and that will tell us which row to pick a letter from, and then we'll place it on onto the treasure chest. So we'll make a start, and then I'll explain some of the rules as we go. So I'm going to roll a dice here, and that's rolled out a shot. Okay, so that was a 5. So we take that 5, and I look along this line here, 5, which has an I, a Y, an N, or a J in. And for this first room, I set up that treasure chest to have a lock, and I'm going to pick the letter Y on here. So I place that on there. And I'm also going to cross it off here, so I don't need Y again. Okay. As we continue through the dungeon, we now need to start playing words. Now we start at the ledge, and we play words that gets us out through this door. So for example, we could start with, let's go with the word snag as our first word, S-N-A-G. Okay, so play a word. We start at the ledge up here and then drop our way down. Words need to be any word in the dictionary, but we can't use abbreviations and we can't use proper nouns. We can have plurals though, so I could write snags if I wanted. As we play, we start looking at the other things that we've got going on here. So for example, in monster kills, every time we play a letter that exists within our monsters, I cross it off. So in this case, I'm going to cross off, I've got an N in here, so I'm going to cross off the N from fiend. I've got an A, so I'll take away the A from vampire. And I've got a G, so I'm going to take away the G from ogre. Once we've crossed off all the letters of one of these, we'd beat that monster within the dungeon and we'd score the points for it. Okay, let's have a look at treasure chests. At the moment, I'm not scoring anything from that treasure chest because I've not connected it to my path of words. So I'm going to do possibly the word grey along here. So I can play grey because it connects to snag and it's a unique word. It's not the same as snag. And I do the same thing again here. What I'm going to do is cross off the R and the E over here. Because I didn't write the letter Y, it's not something I can actually cross off. Okay, so that's how we get treasure chests. We'll talk about gemstones in just a moment. They're a little bit easier. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is head out of this dungeon so far, somehow. But I'm actually going to think a little bit about how I get a few more letters in, because if I place the word vet here, I can place vet because it fits with all the other words in the dungeon, and that would allow me to cross off the V and the E. Brilliant. I now want to get through the door. Any word can be written to get us through a door, but once we've written that word down, one of two things will happen. And this is where we have two variants of this game. We have a variant that has blessed doors, slightly easier door mechanics, and a variant that has cursed doors. And we're going to play the cursed doors variant here today. Right, so I'm going to get out of this room by playing the word right. H-T. Any letter on here gets me through that door, and I'm going to write an H down here to show that I have used an H. Now, in the cursed version of the game, I am no longer allowed to use the word H in any word that I write into the dungeon. Okay, I could still write it if I'd rolled it here on a treasure chest, but I can't write it as the words I place down. So that's for any word coming forward. So you'll not now see the letter H in any of this dungeon, apart from if I roll it on a treasure chest. That's the cursed variant. This is a harder version. Now, just to give you a sense of what the blessed variant is, the blessed variant, a slight adaptation to that rule. Once I place the letter H on here, now I cannot use H in just the room afterwards. Okay, so slightly easier there. And also, as I place these down, in the cursed, in the blessed version, each letter here that is different from the other letters would score me some points. So it pays to be different over here. In the cursed version, everything here has to be different because I can no longer use the letters. Okay, let's keep going. We've just busted through the door into this room. So now we need to roll for the treasure chest in that room. And because we got through the door, we roll again, same as before. And we've got here another 5. So that 5, I'm going to place the letter J. So I cross J out and I place it just there. Now, to score the gemstones, they're quite easy. We just need to write a word across them that fits with the rest of the dungeon. So let's be a bit thematic about this. Let's take the word tomb here, remembering that as we go, we cross off the letters T and O and M and a B. That's quite nice. It gets rid of some of those letters. And then maybe down here, I'll place the word ebb. Ebb and flow. Again, I cross off the E. I haven't got any B's, so I won't cross those off. And that means I would score this gemstone later on. We'll talk about scoring a little bit later on. So ebb goes down there. That's quite nice. Remembering that everything fits in the path through the dungeon. Nice and easy. We now need to move around here. Just a note up here, I played the word right down here. And I could do that because when I did that, it created the word it across there. Okay, let's think about the next bit. I'm going to come down here with the word one. Again, it's a unique word. It doesn't have an H in it, so I can use it. Cross off anything that I need from here. I'm trying to get as many of these as possible early on to kill these monsters. And then I'm going to place the word jewel just here. Okay, we're doing really well. That means that I've got this treasure chest, which will be worth 2 points at the end. Gemstones are worth 1 point at the end. And now I'm ready to move out of this. Let's go with the word wind. Okay, so I can play wind. I'm playing the cursed version, which means I need to I can now no longer use an N throughout the rest of the dungeon. That's great. And again, I busted through the door, so I'm going to roll for the next thing in this dungeon. Okay? And this time we roll a 1. And I think I'm going to take the letter S for my 1 roll. And that writes in just there. So now I need to find some words that will get me around this next room in order to get through this bit of the dungeon. And I'm going to, and remember, I can't use an H and I can't use an N. They are not available to me anymore. So I'm going to go with the word sides here. That fits quite nicely. It means I can cross off a D over here as well. That's good. Let's be a little bit thematic about the next word and also try and see if we can sort something out here. I'm going to play the word imp. Okay, it brings me down here. It's a legal placement. It makes sense with everything else in the dungeon. And I'm going to cross off an I, an M, and a P. Brilliant. I now need a word that goes across here. And if I can place a letter on this gemstone, it means I score that gemstone at the end. So let's go with the word spot. Again, totally legal placement. And now I need a way of kind of coming down plus getting ready to go through this door. So let's take a spot. Does that help us up here? S-P-O-T, yeah, we take off the O here. I'm going to go with the word offer down here. These Fs help me out with that monster kill up here. So I'm going to take the F and the R, which leaves me just a few monsters to kill there. And here, let's go with something like lofts. Again, that now gets me those 2 gemstones. Offer, lofts, doesn't get me any of those time. But so far, I mean, this is room 3, and I've done quite well here at getting all the gemstones and treasure chests. Okay, next. We're going to have to bust through this door. Again, we have to use a different letter because of our placement rules on the cursed doors. If we've been placing the blessed doors, I could now use an H again if I wanted. However, it wouldn't score me a point for unique letters at the end. So let's bust through this door with the word river. So it is V that unlocks the door, which means that V is no longer accessible to me for the rest of this dungeon. River, pretty useful here. Playing river got me the I and the R, and this actually means that I would have killed these 2 monsters, and I've killed this one. There's a C and a Z left to go to kill those other monsters. We'll talk about discoveries in just a moment once we've worked out what to do with this horrible little door just here. Okay, I'm going to play the word or here. Again, it follows all my placement rules. It fits with the letters that are in there, and it doesn't use any of my door letters so far. Or works. Now, to get through this, it will get me a gemstone up here, which is brilliant extra points, but it does mean I'm going to lose a letter for the rest of the dungeon. So you need to make a decision here about how many letters you want to place. How close do you want to get to 100% in this game compared to how likely you are to finish? There's some elements of push your luck here, because if you put down some letters, if you put down an E or a T on a door, you're going to make the rest of the dungeon very, very hard for yourself. Okay, let's go with the word, I'm going to go with emit over here. It's quite nice. Oh, I forgot to do something, didn't I? When I went through this door here, I forgot to place the letter on this treasure chest. So again, I'm going to need to roll. And we've rolled the 3 this time. And that 3, I'm going to put the letter V in there. A bit cheaty because I've just seen what works, but we can play vet here. That's quite nice. And here, I am going to use this door. I'm going to place the word balm here. Means I can't use an L anymore. That's fine, I don't mind too much about that. And then I am going to go with the word eat across here. And then I'm going to be careful here, because this treasure chest is so close here. I need to think really carefully about how I get through and what letter I place in it. So I'm just going to go with the word am. Now, I'm allowed to extend words later. So I roll am, and I'm going to roll the dice again. Sorry, was that 3? I'll take a 3. Yeah, 3 works quite well. I think to get through here, I'm going to need some way of getting around here. It's complicated when you try to put this word in. I'm going to put the letter A in here. I'll cross that out from up here. I also need to cross out the L up there. Sorry, from that 4 I did earlier. Oh, no, I didn't put that L in. Let's leave that L. That's my mistake there. Now, if I come down here, tar is a word. If I come down here with something like amity, then I'm through the door with the word tar. Brilliant. Okay, so you can see how this progresses. You don't need to watch me do the full game now. I could even speed it up, actually, and then talk about discoveries at the end. But discoveries are really important. They're another way of scoring points. Each discovery is well, the first one is a 4-letter word. The second is a 5-letter word. And the 6th is a 6-letter word. And I must have placed these words throughout the dungeon. They're fairly straightforward, but the bonus points here come from if I'm able to play words that work vertically. Okay, so can I place words horizontally that give me vertical patterns in the word? So for example, if this had the letters, if I was able to place words that gave me the letters A, I, and M here, that would then get me some points for these discoveries along the way. Now, discoveries, I can do at the end of the game before I finish. Okay, I'm now going to play through quite quickly. We'll speed this bit up, and I'll get to the end and I'll show you how we do the scoring. So let's go nice and quick through here now. Okay, I'm going to pause a moment. I've just come into the main boss chamber, and at this point, it's now time to work out how I kill this boss. And these are with these 2 swords here and here. To do this, I'm going to roll again for each of these swords. So a 5 would give me an I or an N on my choices now. So I might end here with an N and cross out that N up here. And then the other one, let's see what we've got. Okay, so we roll a 1. So let's take an E over here. Now, I was allowed to place the N because although I've used it in a door, this is a setup for the end. It's not word placement, so I can still use an N here. All these letters are accessible even if I've used them here. I just can't play them in the full words that I've written. Okay, great, we're into this now. To kill the boss, all we need to do is write words that end here and here. The boss is dead, the game is over. But I do want to think a little bit about how maybe I get my points up here by going through this door. It'll cause me some problems because I'll have to use a word here, a letter here, but we'll see where we get to. Okay, and then we'll talk about discoveries. Oh, I don't need to roll the dice. Okay, so let's go in here with... Let's place a... I don't think I can get this one. Okay, let's think about these discoveries now. I've looked through and I think my discoveries are as follows. If I play the word that I have already placed in the dungeon, which is each, okay, and I take that word each that is in the dungeon, I made a mistake, I didn't place each, I placed Eden. So let's put the word Eden in here. Like that. And then I can take the word I had before, which was, I think, we've got the word sides. That's quite good. S-I-D-E-S. And then if I take the word emotes here, like that, then what I've created is, Edo isn't a word, so I haven't got that, but I have got the word dim, which gets me that, and I have got the word net, which gets me that. Okay, great. We're ready to score up now. Monster kills. I've killed 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and you can see the points next to them. So I've killed a total of, what have I got? 10, 19 points worth of monsters. Great. Discoveries. I've got the 4, the 5, and the 6. That's 15 points. And then, because I've got 2 of these, I get 5 points. If I got 1, it would be 2, and 3 would be all 9, so that's 5 there. Okay, treasure chests. Nice and easy here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm having trouble here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Yeah. So we've got 8 from a treasure chest. I double it to 16 because treasure chests are worth 2. Every unique door I've busted through, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doors. I didn't get through that one, so I left that one blank. 9 there. And then gemstones, let's have a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I didn't get that, so only 9 there. So I add that up. 16 add 9 add 9, that's 25. That's 34. And then my total for this dungeon is adding all these together. That's 20, 39, 69, 73 for this dungeon. Okay, and that's using the cursed variant, which makes this a little bit harder. The blessed door variant is similar, but when you write the H, you only don't put it in the next room. When you write this one here, the V only doesn't exist in the next room. Remember, the V here and the V here is okay because that wasn't me writing a word, that was me rolling for the treasure. Okay, that's Word Dungeon. Hopefully that helps you understand how to play the game. I'd love to get some feedback on the Board Game Geek page about it, and I look forward to seeing what you say. Thank you very much for your time. Looking down, I think I've messed up here because Eden would be a proper noun, as in Garden of Eden. Maybe? So it wouldn't work. Ooh. Okay. Noted on that might not be the right answer there. But thank you very much for joining along. This is Word Dungeon. My name's Joe from Joe Plays Games. Thank you very much for your time.